have the creative writing program, by this point you would have seen my introduction. And so I am Mel Compton, and let's get started. So for week one, we're going to be going right back to basics. So your first activity for this week is to what I call freestyle write. And so for about 10 minutes, time yourself on your phone, get your facilitator to time you. You're just going to write for 10 minutes. There's no rules to this, whatever comes to mind. And I know sometimes when I did this the first time, I was like, what is happening? Like, I can't think, I don't know what to write. And so if you don't know, then write that down. Physically write on the paper, I don't know what to write. And keep doing that until something comes to mind. There's no rules for this. So you can talk about art, you can talk about music, you can talk about what you ate for dinner last night, you could talk about brushing your teeth, it doesn't matter. Just write and see what comes out of that. So part 2 of this, we're gonna do the freestyle writing again, but you're going to think of a theme. I'm going to give you a theme for the first round because we're going to do 2 parts of this, and your theme is going to be water. So again, now the only difference is instead of freestyle writing about anything, it just has to connect to the theme of water. Write one word, write another word, and another word, and another word, and see what you come up with. Now, I don't want you to be worrying so much about punctuation or grammar or sentence structure at this point. I don't care if you spell words wrong, it doesn't matter. I just want you to break down that barrier and learn how to just creatively write. And you can choose your own theme. So part 3 of this is choosing your own theme. So you're gonna freestyle write again for 10 minutes around a theme that speaks to you today. And so for me, I just had a really big lunch, and so I'm gonna say I feel full, and I'm gonna write about feeling full, right? There's other days where I have sweetgrass right beside me. I've written poems about sweetgrass before. I've written about my cats before. I've written about cheese. And we'll get into that. There's actually what we call a satire poem, so a funny, humorous poem that makes fun of sort of political things or like inanimate objects. And so just write around the theme and see what you come up with. So your second activity for week 1 is going to be called color variations. And so what I want you to do is think of a color in your head, and don't tell anybody, and you're gonna write 5 sentences starting with that color. And so some examples, I do apologize, I'm just gonna look off to the side so I can read what I have, but I'm using the color white. And so the first 5 sentences that I've chosen are, white is the color of snow. White light hurts my eyes. White was my grandfather's hair blowing in the wind as he worked in his woodshop. White shoes are the best when they are brand new and shiny. White isn't really a color, but rather a shade. And so 5 sentences starting with the color that you've chosen. And then part 2 to this activity is to write 5 sentences ending with that color. And so it doesn't matter if they're very similar to your first set of 5, just making sure that the color is at the end of the sentence. And so the 5 that I have here are, I love when the snow falls fresh, so crisp and white. I can see the wisdom in a person when their hair grows white. To make pastel colors, you mix all dark versions of them with white. My sister has a cat that is all white. Daisies are beautiful flowers that are white. And then for part 3 of this, if you feel up to it, you're gonna write 3 sentences embedding the color white at the beginning, middle, and end, or beginning and end, it doesn't matter. Just try to use the color white as much as you can. And so I actually have 2 examples, but white shoes get so dirty, so I buy a white shoe cleaner in order to keep them shiny. My grandmother's hair is almost all white and she really likes it, but my mom always dyes her white hairs brown. And then one that I can think of off the top of my head is the white snow is currently melting outside, and I'm really excited to see the white of the clouds blowing through the winds in the sky. So another option to the color variations is you don't have to pick a color. You could actually choose an animal or an object. So if you want to talk about a pencil, if you want to talk about a marker, or if you want to choose an animal that speaks to you, you can do that as well. And so just play around with the words, play around with the sentences, and see what things that you can come up with. And remember, so the first step is starting with the word in the sentence. Your second part is ending with the word in your sentence. And then the third, if you want to challenge yourself, is embedding that word into multiple parts of that sentence.